I'm sure our viewers enjoyed getting a glimpse into the childhood and personal life of U.S. Ambassador Harry K. Thomas. We are now back with the ambassador and his insights into our cultural and educational exchanges with his country. There has been an affinity between the United States and the Philippines through basketball. Now, how do you think can we promote sports and education to each other's countries through scholarship programs in an exchange basis that our students can get into?
You know, I'm glad you asked that, Butch. We have the longest continuous Fulbright program in the world in the Philippines. We've had over 1,700 Filipinos go to the United States. We bring Americans here for cultural exchange programs every year. Clearly, we work with the private sector. The NBA brings players, retired players here for exchanges. We look forward. We're hoping that Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat will come back again this August, maybe with the trophy. We have done a lot of baseball diplomacy. You know, one of the things I'm most proud of is being the honorary coach of the Smoky Mountain baseball team, and we hope those kids go to the Little League World Series. Major League Baseball and my classmates from Holy Cross have donated equipment to these kids, and also the kids in Baguio. We brought Ken Griffey Jr. here, one of the 10 or 15 greatest baseball players of all time. He was here last year, and those kids didn't know who Ken Griffey Jr. was, although they admired the home runs. But the fact that he came here and worked with those kids, not just the kids from Smoky Mountain, but kids from Alabang and Makati also. The Secretary has named a new basketball ambassador, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's been here before. My real goal is hoping that Jeremy Lin from my hometown Knicks would come here. Very pleased that Edward P. Jones, the Pulitzer Prize winning author, was here in November, and he was well received by the Filipino Penn Hemingway Society. We just had a dance group here last month, and we'll continue. We've had hip-hop dancers, although I think that's the only thing that probably we shouldn't have brought here, because that was when I first got here. And this young woman from MTV was here to train the Filipinos in hip-hop dancing. I don't even remember that, Adrian. And those kids knew how to dance better than her. I'm very proud of the fact that we send a lot of kids, particularly from Mindanao, to the States on high school exchange programs. This is the first year we spent special needs kids to the States on high school exchange programs. A lot of our universities do work both ways. I know that the Philippine Embassy in Washington is looking to the University of Michigan, which houses a Southeast Asia program and also a Philippine library, to do programs this fall. So you have it going both ways.
Tourism is a field where both our countries will not find any difficulty in promoting. However, there is always room for a step forward for both of us, even in this field. Now, how can we further promote travel and tourism to the United States, to the Filipinos, and vice versa?
Well, I think we all like the new slogan, "It's more fun in the Philippines," and we hope that works. We think that the Philippines, with its wonderful beaches, some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, clearly we'd like to see more Americans coming here. We know that Secretary Rojas is committed with his colleagues to improving the infrastructure to make it easier for tourists to come here. But tourists come here no matter what. You know, in Baguio they have the Phil-Am golf tournament each year. It's one of the oldest and largest golf tournaments in the world. And despite the fact they can't fly, so many Americans come here, fly into Manila and drive up to make the 6-hour trek up to Baguio.
Digressing a little bit, your resume says that you speak Spanish, Hindi, and Bangla, and you're learning to speak Filipino. Now, with the word ante that you used earlier, I believe that. Now, do you have a special interest in languages? As you know, the Philippines, as an English-speaking nation, what cultural exchanges can we embark on together?
I have a hard time pronouncing a lot of Filipino words, but I try. But the reason I think it's important is because to understand the people, you have to speak their language. Our job in this embassy is to tell President Obama and Secretary Clinton what's going on in the Philippines. And if we don't learn the language, how are we going to understand? I was at dinner 2 nights ago after the Supreme Court And people were, one of the Filipino prosecutors had used a word, and they were explaining it to me, how people go around things. Palasut to something, palasot, and I found that really interesting. What I'm really proud of is the program we have in this embassy, where I invite your viewers to go on YouTube and look at our programs. We have some of our officers, especially some of our younger officers who are fluent in Tagalog, speaking in Tagalog on the programs, and starting with my staff aide, you know, she's a Cosidina. I was laughing with a California accent, but she did it very well.
Going back to languages, can you give us a sample of some of the Filipino words that you learned that you can speak on television?
Mahirap, Butch, mahirap. Dahil my pronunciation is terrible. My friends actually make fun of the way I say matunda. I've learned a lot of words on the golf course, you know, and all of my shots, and there are very few very good shots, so they're always saying pangit, you know, and because, and then they taught me that when my ball goes in the water, to say, what is it, an aswang got it, what is a aswang? And say tabi tabi po as I go by to try to get it back, or say boomalik, maybe my ball will return. I go into restaurants and, you know, ask for too big, and they say what? Been in Hawaii twice, and, you know, recently they have a lot of Filipinos, particularly Ilocanos in Hawaii, and I was surprised how few of them spoke Tagalog. So I was teaching them some Tagalog. So next time you go to Hawaii, you'll see a bunch of Filipinos with a New York, South Carolina accent trying to say matunda or something like that.
Now, you've been steeped in the Philippine culture as you've been here for 2 years now. What aspect of Philippine culture can we best promote to your people?
Filipinos love music, and Filipinos have a great appreciation for all types of music, and we should look at that in the United States. I think the Filipino willingness to look at hardship and deal with it with a smile, which must be sometimes internally killing them. But that's something we could learn.
The Philippines is getting more and more feedback on social networking as a destination. Which of these destinations do you think are underrated, but you would, by personal choice, recommend as a destination?
Well, clearly, I love going to Baguio, the city of pines. I just, you know, feel rejuvenated every time I go up there. Twice I've been to Tali Beach. I was just there last week, and I love swimming there and snorkeling. I haven't had the opportunity to be to Boracay, but the prettiest place I've been is Palawan, to the underground river. And Mayor Hagedorn was working with people that call themselves Okie Pinoys, Oklahoma Filipinos, who had come up with these electric cars to go around parts of it with. And you know, they're preserving it's a little bit of ecotourism. I really want to go see the rice terraces. So, and I want to go to Sagada, I think, to see those caves. And people tell me so much about those. So those are, I guess I need to put Boracay, the rice terraces, and Sagada on my bucket list and before I leave here to see.
Mr. Ambassador, we've looked up to America as a big brother, our father for a while. And as you very well know, we are in these trying times internationally. Many Filipinos have been asking how far can we look at the support and backup of the American people as we go through these trying times wherein territorial rights are perceived to be trampled upon.
As you know, Secretary Guzman and Del Rosario just came from Washington, where they met with Secretary Clinton and had dinner with Secretary Panetta at the Pentagon. That before that we had the bilateral security dialogue. Before that, Secretary Clinton was here for the Manila Declaration to reaffirm our treaty commitments, the 61st anniversary of our Mutual Defense Treaty. So I think that our support for Filipinos and the Philippines has been well documented and demonstrated. Territorial disputes are something that is our worldwide policy of taking no sides. As the Secretary said, we want to see a collaborative process that ends in peace.
Mr. Ambassador, you've been very kind and very generous with your time for this exclusive interview. Before we let you go, would you have a message for the Filipino people as the sitting Ambassador of the United States to the Philippines?
Maraming salamat for the open arms that the Filipino people have extended to all of the Americans in this embassy. We respect your country, we respect your people. We'll continue to try to assist you. We view ourselves as your partner. We're trying to align ourselves with you and with the needs of your democratically elected president. And that's important, that in this day and age we be equal partners and work together. Sometimes we'll agree, sometimes we will disagree, but we won't split apart. This is the ideal country for me to serve in, and more importantly, the Filipino and American men and women that work in this embassy who are trying to make this country better on a daily basis.
Thank you. It's been a privilege.
Thank you, Butch. Really enjoyed it.
We thank the kind ambassador for granting us this exclusive one-on-one interview here on Business and Leisure's Embassy Row.